1-1. Fly ball, center field, deep. Fairchild makes a catch, reaching over his shoulder, and McCutcheon's almost to third base. He'll be doubled off easily. Ellie De La Cruz, the shortstop from center field, will cut down the throw as far as he could. And that ends up being a double play.
Oh, boy, was that frustrating. And I think we can all relate. Trying to get to third early, getting thrown out. Know what I'm saying, Dorin?
Mm-hmm.
And the Pirates fall 2-1 to the Reds.
Here's the pitch. And Hayes, a check swing ground ball to first, and it stunned him. He's not even out of the box by the time the game ends. So the Pirates go quietly, lose 2-1 to the Reds.
That sucked. You get a gem, really, from Bailey Falter. It's never spectacular with Bailey Falter. A lot of hard hit balls, but he gets 3 double plays in the first 3 innings, and he goes through 7, and you're thinking, you can't really ask more from that guy. Then you get a couple of innings from the bullpen. Don't give up anything. So 2 runs given up. You need to be able to win that baseball game. And we'll get into Derek Shelton and some of his questionable decision-making from this game. One move that he should have made and didn't that could have cost the Pirates. Another move he should have made because it's common sense and he didn't that didn't wind up costing the Pirates. But, well, the process was bad. Is this one of those games, though, Dorin, where you just say, hey, they made some plays, you didn't make plays. Spencer Steer robs Michael A. Taylor of a home run. We heard the Stuart Fairchild robbing of Brian Reynolds. Or do you blame the Pirates? The bad base running mistake from McCutcheon and then just the lack of being able to get anything going offensively?
It was just a lack. I mean, the lackadaisical, the effort. Not the effort, but, in the field or anything, but just like the hitting. Like you would think that they would have unraveled something else from the Skeens game, have some momentum there. I mean, I could throw this away, obviously, if they go out there today at 12:35 and they take care of business with Mitch Keller on the mound, and not look at this game. I mean, that's kind of what they have to do. That's kind of how they've operated. Rubber match sometimes that hasn't gone their way. If they could figure out a way to win today, I could look at this game and be like, okay, like it is what it is. But I didn't expect too much with Falter being on the mound. Like you said, 3 double plays, 3 innings. He did his job, but nobody else really came to play yesterday. Nobody came to play.
They really didn't. And, it just underscores, as if you need more reason to go down this line of conversation, that they need bats. McCutcheon went 1 for 3 and had a walk. He got doubled off. That's a bad base running play from a veteran. It just is. So much so. It was so bad that Derek Shelton, after the game, was asked, did McCutcheon think there were 2 outs? There's no reason for Andrew McCutcheon not to just be standing on second base waiting to see what happens there. Because if the ball goes over Fairchance's head and he's standing on second base, he scores. He caught the ball. If you're standing on second base, he catches the ball, you have more than enough time to get back to first base and you're not getting doubled off.
Did he absolutely think that it was out? I think he thought that it was out. Like, there's no doubt in his mind. The way, the trajectory, the how much air was underneath it. He was like, oh, this is out. Let's go.
I don't think he thought it was out. No. I think he thought it was definitely over the center fielder's head.
Okay.
And he didn't score on a play, I think it was in the first inning, where...
He was on third.
Yeah.
Right?
He wound up going from first to third, and I thought he was going to score on the play and didn't, and I think he was trying to make up for not having scored on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely didn't think that baseball was going to be caught. But the smart play is, I'm going to wait at second. If it goes over his head, I'm scoring. Because McCutcheon ain't what he used to be, but he's not by any means slow.
No.
Like, he can score from second, and you expect so much more from him in that circumstance. I don't know what happens the rest of the game. I don't know if he comes around to score at any other point, but don't get doubled off. And Triolo the other day gets thrown out at third. Or excuse me, well, that was 2 weeks ago. Triolo gets thrown out at third.
Gonzalez.
Rowdy Tellez got thrown at the third. You're right. Gonzalez on the first and third stealing of home.
Yes.
He gets thrown out. They're just a bad base running team. They do stupid things in the field. There are physical errors and there are mental errors, but now the mental errors are starting to add up. And that's frustrating to me. If Oneil Cruz is going to field a ground ball and throw it over the first baseman's head, that's going to happen. If he's going to boot a ball at short, that's going to happen. If physical errors happen, the mental stuff, you would like to think they would knock out of their system. I kind of just think it's who they are.
Yeah.
And it's the veterans that are making these mistakes, which is incredibly frustrating. Gonzalez is young, but he's been playing baseball his whole life. But McCutchen's he's 37.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Like, it's easier to blame somebody else, but like, and to ride somebody else that does that. But whenever he does that, it's like, oh man, like you never see that from somebody like that.
No,
never.
And you shouldn't see it from Rowdy Tellez either in the game the other day, getting thrown out at third in such a fundamental moment. Yasmani Grandal's been playing baseball for a decade and a half, and the lollipop throw. Now, I heard Michael McHenry on yesterday with Zeiss and Starkey. I'm going to make sure I put Zeiss's name first so he doesn't get mad at me there, Dorin.
Right.
I just want to make sure I mention Zeiss. So we love you, Paul. He said he thinks there's something physically ailing Grandal to where he thinks it's in the lower half.
That he doesn't want to get up and throw?
He doesn't want to get up and throw.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said, yeah.
It makes a little bit of sense.
It does make sense.
Ever seen him run?
No. Have you? I don't think he does run.
I haven't studied Grandal like from his previous stops, but whenever he does run the first, it looks like me right now running. Like, how I have my bad back? That's what he looks like. It's hard to watch.
He was never fleet of foot to begin with, but there has to be something.
Yeah.
Now that McHenry mentions it, there are excuses, there are reasons. That kind of fits.
Yeah.
That he would be ailed by something. Him and Triolo in a foot race to first base, I don't know who wins. Those guys, they cannot run. And Yasmani Grandal, he calls a good game. Anybody on that Pirates pitching staff that talks about Yasmani Grandal absolutely waxes poetic about him calling games. Mm-hmm. And so if they're all going to say that, it's hard for me to disagree. And then when McHenry says there's got to be something ailing him, McHenry caught for a long time. He's still a catcher mentally, that guy is. And he's a really good analyst, I think McHenry is.
Yes,
so
he is.
There's got to be something to that. But the bigger story is this. Edward Olivares, Jared Triolo, Michael A. Taylor, and Jason DeLay. That's the bottom of your lineup yesterday. And those guys produced, let's count here, how many hits those guys had. 0.
DeLay didn't have a hit?
Nope. 0 for 2. Michael A. Taylor, 0 for 3. Jared Triolo, 0 for 3. Edward Olivares, 0 for 2. And then there was the pinch hitting of Jack Sawinski in the ninth inning, who's hitting 175, and they need to send him down. That was not a competitive at-bat. The closer for the Reds has a high ERA. He's a good pitcher. Diaz, the first 2 pitches weren't competitive from him. He threw what would have been 4 balls in that at-bat, and it just so happens that Jack Sawinski struck out anyway. Now, here's where the manager comes into question here. They need better from Shelton. I can't believe what I'm about to say, Dorin. Ninth inning, Connor Joe's really been struggling. He's hitting like $150 in June. He has regressed to a mean in a big way. I absolutely agreed with the decision to pinch hit for Connor Joe in the ninth. Mm-hmm. And you want to go with the lefty. Here's what I can't believe I'm going to say. They should have pinch hit Rowdy Tellez instead of Jack Sawinski.
Yeah, he's harder.
Yes. He's been, no cap, Dorin, one of the best hitters in baseball in June. And if you're going to plug a lefty in there, why in sweet mercy are you going with the guy who's hitting 175 and decidedly not hot instead of the guy who, man, I think there's a better chance of Rowdy Tellez running into one now than Jack Sawinski. I know Jack, even when he's struggling, he can hit one out, and you're hoping maybe to catch lightning in a bottle, but I thought that was a really bad mistake by Derek Shelton. And then one more. So O'Neal Cruz hits for Jason DeLay in the 8th inning. That was the right call. Absolutely. And Cruz blistered that ball.
Yeah, he did.
Both teams, I think, could argue in that game that there was some bad luck because a lot of hard hit balls from the Reds and a lot of hard hit balls from the Pirates wound up in gloves of defenders. But so Cruz bats for DeLay in the 8th. Great. That is good process. But what should have happened is Jared Triolo should have been lifted. O'Neal Cruz should have been left in the game to play short. And then Grandal could have slid into Triolo's spot in the batting order. That way, if the game goes into extra innings, you've got O'Neal Cruz to help you. But instead, they burned him for just one at-bat. It did not wind up costing them. O'Neal Cruz would not have come up again, but that's just bad process, I think.
O'Neal Cruz should have played the game. The whole game.
I'm actually with you on that, too.
That's where I'm at. Like, I mean, I get it. You don't want him going against it was a lefty, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, you don't want to sacrifice, as I said earlier when we were talking before the show, cut off your nose to spite your face, right? That's the saying. Like, I mean, I understand that it's one of those situations where you don't want him facing, but he's one of your better bats right now.
Yes, he has been really, really good since May 1st. We went into those numbers a little bit yesterday. His OPS over 800 since May. So most of the season, O'Neal Cruz has been the O'Neal Cruz that we thought we would be getting all season long, which is an impact bat. You'd like to see more balls go over the fence, but so Jared Triolo starts at shortstop instead of O'Neal Cruz. Now, O'Neal Cruz on the season against lefties is hitting 154. That's very, very bad. A, how are you going to get better if you don't face lefties? But B, the guy that they had in there for him is Jared Triolo, who, against lefties in 69 plate appearances this year is hitting 217. I'll take my chances with O'Neal Cruz and his 154 against lefties over Jared Triolo hitting 217 against lefties, because O'Neal Cruz can change the game with one swing of the bat. And this is a series, again, against a divisional opponent and a team that you're battling with for the wild card, where's the sense of urgency? I'm with you. Like, you can argue this multiple ways. He should have been in. I can meet you there, like you're saying. And if not, well, okay, when you pinch hit for Jason DeLay late, get Jared Triolo out of the game, put Yasmani Grandal in Jared Triolo's spot in the batting order, and then if you do go to extra innings, you've got O'Neal Cruz. It's just bad managing yesterday from Derek Shelton. Just really bad.